Good afternoon. It's Wednesday, October 21. I'm Herman Green with your midday news. If you're watching on our online platform, onespotmedia.com, a very special welcome to you. Thanks for joining us. A worrying COVID-19 cluster has been declared at the Golden Age home in Vineyard Town, Kingston. The health ministry says it will be ramping up testing at the facility. However, despite the ministry's intervention, at least one public health official believes the matter is still a cause for concern. 43 of 72 samples taken from residents and staff at the Golden Age home in Vineyard Town, Kingston, have returned positive results for COVID-19. The health ministry has announced that all 428 residents and 162 staff members at the facility are to be tested within the next 2 to 3 days. However, one public health official believes the cluster is a cause for concern. Professor of Public Health and Aging, Denise Eldemire Shearer, says protection of the elderly is important given their vulnerabilities. She believes the focus should now be on preventing further transmission of COVID-19 at the facility.
Once we had community spread, this was a real danger or a real risk. Risk is a better word. As you know, they have been monitoring these homes fairly closely, and in fact, Minister was there, 2 weeks ago. So I think that they have taken the right measures, and we will just have to watch and ensure that there is no spread. Fortunately, the structure of the Golden Age home into the 8 different clusters is going to make the isolation easier than where you have wards. And so that's all we can do at this time, and of course ensure that they have adequate medical care.
The health ministry says those who have tested positive have been placed in isolation while others are in quarantine pending their results. In the meantime, emergency management protocols have been triggered at the facility. The ministries of health and local government have identified a team to provide care for the residents of the home. The Ministry of Health says it also plans to review the protocols to increase the surveillance and monitoring of similar facilities to reduce transmission among the vulnerable population. Meanwhile, Associate Professor at the School of Public Health at the University of Technology, Alfred Bailey, is urging the authorities to immediately review infection prevention and control measures being practiced by caregivers at these facilities. Dr. Bailey says a COVID-19 safety net in Golden Age homes island-wide should immediately be established, such as weekly testing of all caregivers at the facility.
And if possible, remove them from their homes with appropriate contact tracing, isolation, and quarantine. As a matter of urgency, the ministry must ban all visitors to these facilities right now. Because of the severe complications that might occur as a result of infection in the elderly, I'm recommending that we provide special isolation wards in each region for senior citizens who will have to be managed very closely for complications if they occur.
In the meantime, Jamaica recorded 71 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday. This has increased the country's case count to 8,445. The ages of the new cases range from 2 to 91 years. Most of the cases were recorded in St. Catherine, followed by Kingston and St. Andrew. Cases were recorded in all parishes except for Trelawney. Meanwhile, no COVID-19 related deaths were recorded yesterday. The country's death toll remains at 174. The Ministry of Health says 150 patients remain hospitalized. 10 of them are critically ill, while another 22 persons have been classified as moderately ill. The National Works Agency, NWA, will today continue clearing drains in St. James after sections of Montego Bay were flooded on Monday. NWA Communications Manager Stephen Shaw says 2 major drains were cleared yesterday. Mr. Shaw told our news center that the drains were blocked by garbage and other debris.
The drain at Blue Diamond that comes out near the Rio Hotel, and the other drain, the Chelsea drain, that would have caused flooding in the Irwin area yesterday. We have started to clean those. We will have to revisit these 2 drains tomorrow because of the amount of garbage, silt, and other deposits that are there to be removed from these channels.
On Monday, the ground floor of the Rio Reggae Hotel was flooded following heavy rain, dislocating guests on the ground floor and halting operations for several hours. In a TVJ News follow-up, Doyles Funeral Home in Lucy, Hanover is rejecting a suggestion that it is responsible for misplacing the body of a baby who died in January. The parents who went to identify the body complained that the body that was presented to them was not their child.
It is highly unlikely that a body could be misplaced, switched or mixed up at the funeral home due to the procedures that we have in place. Furthermore, our funeral home does not bury, cremate or carry out post-mortem without proper authorization from the relevant authorities. We unfortunately have bodies at our facilities for extended periods due to the fact that we must await proper authorization regarding final deposition of the bodies.
The funeral home is insisting that the body was tagged after it was received from the hospital.
In regards to the baby for the mother, we are of the opinion that she should do a DNA test. As with the procedures that we carry through, there would not be a possibility of wrong tagging of the baby.
And it's time now for a break here on the Midday News, but stay with us. More news when we return. Welcome back, continuing the news. The police have revealed that more than 30 persons who were allegedly found at a party in Hellshire, Portmore, St. Catherine during the curfew hours on Heroes Day have been charged under the Disaster Risk Management Act. They are scheduled to appear in the St. Catherine Parish Court on November 24. A news release from the police last evening said 34 persons were seen at the party on Parrot Close. There is rising tension in parts of St. Anne after members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force raided several homes in the Cave Valley area, leaving some residents traumatized. The police operation follows the beating of a man by members of the police force in a video that has gone viral. More in this report. The man at the center of this viral video, Gawain Peart, is speaking out after this dramatic confrontation with members of the JCF on Monday.
Me dey home, I sit down, me and my friend sit down there, me work with him and he come check me there. Me and him eat all out I see him place Sunday.
Peart, a well-known farmer in the community, says he was in his yard when the lawmen pulled him onto the street and started beating him.
I did sit down, I just jump out of the jeep and then jump the big man first. You want red shirt, jump the big man first. Then you want blue, tell me to get up and me get up. As me get up, he kick when me 2 foot and me drop for me back. And he hold on me gun over me and tell me he shoot me. 3 times and me shoot me out of my chest.
Mr. Peart says several attempts to ascertain why the officer was beating him proved futile. He says the incident has affected his livelihood.
I no do them nothing bossy, and they just start brutalize me in my head and palm my foot. Right now, bossy, me there, I mash up. I tell you the truth, me mash up on me a farm, I mash up. I don't know any external to make right now.
A family member who is seen in the video being beaten by the police also shared her experience.
Me say, when me do your office, I no do nothing, me no want it. We have put me in a jeep for bad word office, sir, bad word. Until we say I come back on the drive by shoot him. That's what he says. They behave never nice.
Several attempts to contact head of the St. Anne Police Division, Superintendent Carlos Russell, were unsuccessful. In the meantime, Councillor for the Boroughbridge Division, Winston Brown, has taken issue with how the police have carried out their operation.
And they came in the area this morning. 3 houses, kick off the doors, ransack the people's house, and they still have the people in custody. I don't know if police have a right to do that. How can a person in custody and then you come now and damage the people's house, kick off the door and leave the house with them unprotected?
Councillor Brown added that he believes the police need to find a better way to deal with the citizens they serve. A number of people taking part in a protest against police brutality in Nigeria's biggest city, Lagos, have reportedly been shot dead or wounded. Witnesses say up to 12 people were killed and others wounded when soldiers opened fire. Amnesty International said it has credible reports of deaths. The state governor said about 25 people have been wounded and later admitted that 1 person died in hospital due to blunt force trauma to the head. An indefinite 24-hour curfew has been imposed on Lagos and other regions. Protests over a now disbanded police unit, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS, have been taking place for 2 weeks, with demonstrators using the social media hashtag #EndSARS to rally crowds. The president has been appealing for understanding and calm. Now, speaking on TVJ's Smile Jamaica program this morning, BBC reporter Ajoke Uholste said the protesters want the president to address their concerns.
Yesterday, he's been silent about everything that's been going on for about 2 weeks now. Aside the fact that he came out to say that SARS had indeed been dissolved, and they were looking at how to ensure that families get justice. That's about everything Nigerians have heard from the president. And so, they're looking to see leadership at this point. Now, what would happen from this point on is not what anybody can speculate about, because nobody knows what's going to happen. All we know is, it's not safe out there.
Yeah.
And young people are still demanding for justice.
And here now is a preview of what's coming up in this evening's Health Report.
In the next edition of the Health Report, we'll look at dengue fever.
Individuals are encouraged to go outside, to look around their homes, in their immediate environment, identify potential breeding sites. These breeding sites may be the cans, the flower pots, the tires.
That's the Health Report this evening in Primetime News. And now for today's healthy living tip. Your sleeping area should have mosquito netting over the bed. Avoid mosquito bites even during the day. Wear long-sleeved shirts and long pants outdoor. Use mosquito repellent on skin and clothing. And eliminate mosquito breeding sites around homes.
We go on to news in sports. After 25 years of paying rent for the players' residence on Shortwood Road, the Jamaica Football Federation, JFF, has called it a day, as they will now be moving into the newly constructed players' dorm at the UWI Captain Horace Burrell Technical Center.
So the facility at the Captain Burrell Center is in fact ready, and we have decided that it makes no sense now that that facility is ready to be still paying rent for this facility. So we would have indicated to the owners that at the end of this month we will be terminating the arrangement.
The JFF was paying $200,000 per month for rent, and President Ricketts says the savings will now go a long way in taking care of other needs.
Now that we have our own hostel, so to speak, that that amount of money that normally would be paid for rent could be directed elsewhere. So it is indeed a fact that certainly we are delighted, and we just want to ensure that we make the best use of this new facility.
And while the players were residing at Shortwood Road, they had none other than former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson as neighbor. On Tuesday, the JFF visited Patterson, where they presented departure gifts for the years spent next door.
I was able, as a good neighbor, to help them in their efforts. They were always welcome, and we also made sure that they got some eye of protection from here, which was necessary and very important in these times.
Mr. Patterson has no regrets about the players staying next door, but it seems highly unlikely that there will be another national association taking up residence at the Shortwood Road premises.
I don't know where the ownership of the property lies. I think the person seems to have some interest in a development. That would have to be shown to me, because there are restrictive covenants as to what sort of building can take place in this area.
And that's it for the Midday News. I'm Herman Green. Join us at 7 for the Primetime Package. On behalf of the News, Sports and Production teams, good afternoon.